Greetings, my fellow patriots. We are live. This is Live Free or Die, and I'm your host, Eli King. This is Alternative News Media, and I thank you for joining me today for this very, very, very special report. Something that the mainstream media has been covering up since since who knows. But the facts are out. The evidence is in. The AIDS cure has been found. Believe it, people. And we're going to get to that right after I get to the facts, you see. Because before we get to the cure, we got to get to the origin. Where did this come from? For those of you out there who think this came from a little green monkey, you're out of your damn mind. You need to wake up and smell the coffee and smell the reality of this, which I'm going to hit you hard with right now. Especially all black people and people of color. All right. Let's get started. Dr. Boyd Graves made an amazing discovery. The late Dr. Boyd Graves, I may ask. He discovered that Dr. Antelman patented a cure for AIDS. So, before we get to that, like I said, let's go to the roots. You see, back in 1921, lead eugenics professor Bertrand Russell publicly supported the necessity for organized plagues against the black population. In 1931, we secretly tested African Americans and we tested AIDS in sheep. In 1945, we witnessed the greatest influx of foreign scientists in U.S. into the biological program Operation Paperclip, which will live in infamy as one of the darkest programs of a twisted parallel government fixed on genocide. Anybody who knows of Operation Paperclip, this is when we basically took the Nazi scientists and brought them over here for such biological operations. All right. And in 1946, June 3rd, I believe, Representative Albert Thomas, this is from Time magazine, Representative Albert Thomas said, "We have something far more deadly than the atomic bomb. We have it today, not tomorrow, and furthermore, it is in usable shape. The scientific factors at hand would result in devastation equal to, if not greater than, the atomic bomb." This man was speaking of the AIDS virus. Believe it or not. Now let's get into that. In 1949, a doctor isolates the Visna virus. Visna is man-made and shares some unique DNA with HIV. You can see the proceedings in the United States NAS, volume 92, page 3283, April 11th, actually, 1995. All right. In 1957, future President, Representative Gerald Ford, and others gave the U.S. Pentagon permission to aggressively deploy offensive biological agents. There is no record cases of AIDS prior to 1957. In 1962, under the cover of a cancer research program, the United States charts a path to commit premeditated murder. The Special Virus Program begins on February 12th of that year. That's right. The Special Virus Program was a program that was used to biologically invent AIDS in the lab. You can look this up, people. Thank goodness for good men and women, good people out there who, I'm just so angry right now. I am so angry because they have committed a Holocaust on my people, black people, Latino people. And the mainstream is totally ignoring this. Let's get into the full details of this right now. Right now. In 1964, the United States Congress gave full support for the leukemia, lymphoma, and AIDS virus research. But there was no AIDS back then, right? Let's go on. In 1969, Fort Detrick told world scientists at the Pentagon, and he asked for more money. They knew they could make AIDS, they said, but Nixon's July 18 secret memo to Congress on overpopulation serves as the start of the paper trail of the AIDS Holocaust. You see, in that year, President Nixon and John D. Rockefeller III, they assigned a population czar to, it was a program called Population Stabilization in 1970. And coincidentally, that very same decade, cancer skyrocketed in the 70s. Now, we're moving on to the where AIDS began. As we all know, AIDS began here in Manhattan and here in Africa. In 1978, right here in Manhattan, 1,086 homosexuals, white promiscuous homosexuals, were given an experimental hepatitis B vaccine. All 186 of those white promiscuous homosexuals died of AIDS. And the smallpox vaccine was released to Africa. This is clearly documented, people, in the U.S. Special Virus Program, that they have covered up the first 7 reports. But reports 8 through 13 are here. You can go to your public library and look it up. Also, the smoking gun of the AIDS virus that proves that man-made AIDS to thin the black population is the 1971 flowchart in Progress Report number 8. I'm going to show this to you right now. This is the 1971 flowchart. And in phase 4A of the flowchart, it clearly states how they are going to treat people living with AIDS, how to medicate and treat people living with AIDS. How did they know this in 1971? Because it is a special virus program. Look it up, people. This is not a game. This is very true. AIDS is a genetic, race-specific, biological weapon released on our people. Now, you may be asking, oh, if it's targeting black people, why did they give it to the white homosexuals? Because there is a gene. It is called CCR5 delta 32 positive. You see, people of color have the CCR5 delta 32 positive. And the white people, 15% of Caucasian people of Nordic European descent have the CCR5 delta 32 minus receptor in their blood genome. Now, if you happen to have the CCR5 delta 32, then you are immune to the AIDS virus. That's right, 15% of people in this world are immune to AIDS and HIV, and they so happen to be white, which is more proof that this is a biological weapon to kill black, Latino, Indian, and people of color. Now let's go back to the white homosexual part, where you may be asking, if this is a weapon against black people, then why did the white people die? because through race mixing throughout the years, these white homosexuals were tested. They were screened before they were given the vaccine. They were screened to make sure that they had the CCR5 Delta 32 genome positive. And if they did have this positive genome, then they qualified for the experimental hepatitis vaccine. Like I said, through race mixing, it is possible that most white people have the CCR5 Delta 32 positive gene. But if you are of pure blood, Nordic descent, then you have the CCR5 Delta negative gene. And like I said, you are therefore immune to the AIDS virus. Oh, this is very important. People, we need to spread this news out. We need to get the actual documents for the U.S. Special Virus Program. We need activists. We need other TV show hosts out there to step up their game. All right? Don't let me be the only one out here. We're in Manhattan. We're in Manhattan, where this started. You gonna tell me I'm the only one who has the guts to stand up? You ought to be ashamed of yourselves. All right, I'm digressing. I'm wasting time here. Let's get on the important issues. So, now that we have covered the very important bases, let's get to the cure. That's right. As a matter of fact, there are 2 cures for AIDS and HIV. We'll start with number 1. Get a pen, get a paper, write this down. U.S. Patent 567-6977. Google that. 567-6977. I have the patent right here. This is the patent. It is tetrasilver and tetraoxide. It is a 20-minute procedure, and it is dirt cheap. Dr. Marvin Antelman had patented this back in October 14th, 1997. Now, it only stood up on the shelves for about 5 years till they took it down, but you can still find the patent. That's one cure for AIDS, right there. And I'm sure people have heard of the other cure with the bone marrow transplant. Just Google the Berlin patient. I reported on this story on my first episode ever here on the Manhattan Neighborhood Network. Cure for AIDS? That's right. An American man in Germany was cured of AIDS through a bone marrow transplant. That's right. He had the Delta 32 positive genome, the AIDS victim. He had leukemia as well. So they did the bone marrow transplant to try to get rid of the leukemia, and guess what? He got rid of the AIDS. Still to this day, this man is AIDS-free, walking around, very healthy. We'll get to the story in a minute if I can look it up. But, and you may ask why. How is this possible? Because the donor of the bone marrow is immune to AIDS. Because he has the CCR5 Delta 32 minus receptor site in his genome. So therefore, his bone marrow plasma gets implanted into the infected person, and now he is cured. You see? I hope people wake up to this. There are 2 cures for AIDS out there, and I've only seen a couple of news articles on it. This should be the #1 news story every night, day, morning of the week. Like in 1984, when the AIDS first outbroke, it was all over the news. You couldn't get away from the story. It's all you heard about. So now that we have a cure in this great crisis, Nobody has the guts to stand up and report it? Am I the only one? I will not sit back idle while you assassinate my family, while you assassinate my human brothers and sisters. I will not sit back idle. It will not happen. Oh, brother. All right. I'm glad I brought this to you. Hopefully, you are awakened. You can give me a call. Tell me what you think. 212-245-7273. We are live. Today is March 24th, 2012. Caller, you are on the air.
Hello?
Hello.
Yeah, this is Steve. How you doing, man?
Hey, what's going on, Steve?
Yeah, man, I was blown away when you talked about the AIDS cure, man, and more stuff is coming out that we didn't even know that the mainstream didn't cover. Now, here's the thing. Now, everyone knows, no one knew what the AIDS virus was. All that was popular was VD and STD virus that was in the 70s. And they didn't know why everybody was getting sick for having unprotected sex.
Yeah, they call it gay cancer.
Oh, yeah, the gay cancer. You took the word right out of my mouth, yeah. The gay cancer.
Mm-hmm.
And they thinking it was homosexual that could only get the disease. But back then, they called it acquired immune deficiency syndrome. They called the whole word.
That's because they released the virus on 1,086 homosexuals through the experimental hepatitis B vaccine in 1978.
So this is all on the government work, on their part.
This is part of, yeah. They used government, the eugenicists of the world, the global elite, the New World Order, the Illuminati used government funds, our taxpayer dollars, to assassinate us.
Oh, yeah, to kill out, most of the colored people. Now, the theory was, like in Africa, they thought AIDS came from Africa. Now, I don't know if that's true or not, but the AIDS started from there, but it started in America, though.
AIDS came from a lab. They released it at 2 points in the very same year, 1978. They released it in Africa through the smallpox vaccine, and they released it right here in Manhattan through the experimental hepatitis B vaccine. You can look it up. It's all on record.
Oh, yeah. And what about Ebola? The Ebola virus.
Ebola is another form of, it's sort of like AIDS. And you can be immune to Ebola if you have the CCR5 delta negative genome. You are immune to the Spanish plague. This goes back to the 20th century when they found out about this receptor site genome.
Like in Europe, no one knew where everyone was dying because of the Black Plague back then.
That's right.
Back in the 15th century, I think.
Yeah, according to Dr. Boyd Graves' report, they knew exactly what it was, and they released it.
Oh, okay. So
that's how come the people who were immune then, their ancestors and their grandchildren today are immune now.
Right.
As long as they didn't pick up that CCR5 delta 32 positive genome.
Oh, okay. So that's so different blood types.
Ah, I love it, Steve. Steve, thank you for the call, man.
All right.
All right, brother. I appreciate it. Let's see if we get some more calls in here. All right. Give me a call, 212-245-7273. Tell me what you think. Think I'm lying? Think I'm full of crap? Look it up for yourself. Google U.S. Special Virus Program. Let's stir the cure up one more time. God forbid you happen to be infected. Google that. Google that. And you will see what I'm talking about. Very cheap procedure, about 20 minutes. And, nobody talks about it. This is revolutionary, people. Revolutionary. And you get it here first on the Manhattan Neighborhood Network. You better believe it. I am the only one who will bring you the truth. All right. I really can't believe it. I really cannot believe it. For all these years, and even President Obama, how can a president allow such a thing to go on still to this day? He was notified of this. He knows what's going on. Dr. Boyd Graves notified him before he passed. All right, let's move on to some other stories now. Moving on. Neurosurgeon issues public challenge to vaccine zealots. Inject yourself with the shots you say children should get. That's right, Dr. Russell Blaylock says, you want my kids to take all these vaccines? Why don't you inject yourself with that garbage? This is how they get us, people. You know, I just watched Contagion last night. What a psyop that movie was. They hype it all up. Oh, and you notice the immune guy, Matt Damon. They throw out little signs at you. I'm pretty sure there was plenty of deleted scenes from that movie. Information is out there, people. I know how to read. I can see. I know what the hell is going on. You think this is a joke? This is no joke. When you try to assassinate my children, my brothers, my mother, my father, you want to wipe out me and my population? Well, I'm coming after you. I'm coming after you. There needs to be a revolution in this country. And I'm not talking about a violent one. I'm talking about an intellectual revolution. That's how we win. Intellectually, we knock these bastards down. Let's move on to another story. Food police, Mayor Bloomberg bans food donations to homeless. That's right. So if you make a little lasagna or you got some canned food you want to bring down to the shelter, Mayor Bloomberg says, no, you can't do that because it may be unhealthy for them. Even though I never saw a homeless person looking for food and, oh, that's too fattening for me. I won't eat that. You know, I didn't know homeless people were concerned about their health and watching what they eat. This is amazing, Mayor Bloomberg. Bloomberg, I'm going to say it once again. You're a scumbag, okay? And I got the balls to say it. All right, let's move on. This is a very disgusting story I'm about to read, so if you're a little squeamish, just change the channel. Aborted babies are being chopped up and sold to researchers all over America. This comes from the American Dream. That's right. There is a black market on aborted fetuses. That is perfectly legal. And the Obama administration is in full approval of all this. With the full approval of the Obama administration, this goes on. Did you know aborted fetal tissue was in the Pepsi Cola products? Look it up. When you drink your little Pepsi, I hope you know you're drinking aborted fetal tissue. I don't make this stuff up. Look it up. Gummy bears? You like gummy bears? You like Sour Powers, Swedish Fish? I'm sorry, this isn't funny. This is not funny. Because there's one story in here especially where the doctor describes this was a doctor in the abortion clinic. He quit because he couldn't take it anymore. And he described that the Pepsi companies have people who stand by in the back waiting for these good fetuses to come out. And they prefer about 4 or 5 months old in the fetus, you see. Because they're sweet. They say it's sweet. And he said he described one case where it was twins that were aborted, but they were still alive. And they were on the table, hugging, going to hug each other, trying to get warmth. And what did they do? They killed them. They chopped them up and put them in your Pepsi Cola product. This is real news, people. I'm not going to give you that phony stuff that you hear on the mainstream. All right, let's go to our last story. New Obama executive order seizes U.S. infrastructure and citizens for military preparedness. His latest executive order, which was signed last week on Saturday night, basically states that Obama can take your land, take your food, take whatever he wants, and claim it. This is becoming insane, people. I beg of you, do your own research, become your own reporter, and join me. Join me in your own way, wherever you are in the world. I got viewers worldwide. I go out worldwide, mnn.org. And join me, especially if you know anybody who was affected by this virus. All right, people. Looks like we're out of time. I thank you for joining me. I thank you for listening. And God bless America. God save the Constitution. And if you have received this transmission, then you are the resistance. Ah! I love it. Damn it.